Virgo, this is your 5 aspects of yourself reading for October 2021. Virgo, October of 2021. For spiritual, we got 2 of Wands. For intellectual, we've got 5 of Wands. For physical, we got Cthulhu, Devil. For social, we've got Knave of Discs or Page of Pentacles. And for emotional, we've got 5 of Swords. Angel Arena message for Virgo, October 2021. Israfel, Angel Song. Mausoleum message for Virgo, October 2021. The Thinker, Father of Knowledge. The Enchanted Map message for Virgo, October 2021. Metamorphosis. The 2 of Wands is boldness, courage, resolution, determined will, personal authority, ambition, risk-taking. With these 2 cards here, the Angel of Song and the Thinker, Father of Knowledge, I see them in the card. Here's a female holding a pendant and a male, elder man looking off the horizon. And the card, the illustration references the Atlantean pillars. You got these 2 guys here singing, or not singing, blowing horns of like the sun is rising. I see this as a spiritual connection of awakening, kind of, or a contemplation, spiritual contemplation, or I've been waiting for this kind of like unexpected, but you were prepared kind of thing. It's balance between expecting the unexpected, right? So you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you had a feeling that it's not going to be easy, right? So your spiritual aspect of your life in October is kind of the harmonious preparation, angel song with the horn, right? The female looking at the pendant, looking off and not paying attention because she's trusting in the elder here to let her know. So there's a spiritual connection with the divine here, understanding that it's not always ups, right? Sometimes there's downs that you got to prepare for. 5 of Wands is contesting, strife, competition, struggle for dominance, testing by fire, grace under fire, honor towards foes. So, in a sense, because these are Atlanteans using their wands of light down on these barbarians that are in the darkness. So they're not trying to kill them, right? They're just trying to say, hey, don't come at us trying to hurt us, right? Back up, kind of thing. So on the intellectual, this is you shining the light on your shadow self in your mind and saying, hey, shadow self, calm down. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place for you when I need you. This card references in kind of enslaving the barbarians in a sense from the Atlanteans or the men of the North or Vikings or Norwegians and stuff like that. So it's not that they're necessarily evil people. It's just that hey, they don't realize that they're under the shadow aspect of their life. But in your personal intellectual aspects in Virgo for October, your higher self is saying, hey, shadow self, don't come at me. Let's work together. I don't think you necessarily want to enslave the shadow self because then it just causes problems later and it blows up and then you have rebellions and all kinds of problems, or they just get worse, right? And they don't actually help them. So enslavement is obviously a bad thing, right? So it causes content. So you don't want to do that. You want to intellectually kind of like bring these two together and have them working harmoniously. There's something these barbarians are really good at and can help with, just like these Atlanteans are really good at, and they can help the shadow. Vice versa, they can help each other, right? It's just understanding and figuring out how they can help each other, how they can work in a harmonious dance of yin yang, right, into the future or the change you want to be or the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see, kind of thing, right? So. All right, Cthulhu in reverse, or the devil in this deck is malice, resentment, betrayal, oath breaking, anger, abuse of power, intimidation of others, bullying, deliberate cruelty, forbidden forms of sexuality, pleasure and wickedness. So let's look this card up right. Okay. Cthulhu has come from the depths in Emerald Tablets of Atlantis. He would be referred to as the dweller, but I don't think it's an actual physical form. I think the dweller is like the depths of the darkness, right? The opposite of source light, right? So consumption, consuming, but it's like he's falling out into, and this dark city of his that he resides with is also falling out. But the sun is rising on the horizon. With it being in the physical aspect of your life, this could be, like I said, sexual, right? A lot of lust can come up. A lot of financial negativity, whether it's from you or towards you. Um, Environment, okay, so that would be home, social environments potentially, but it does connect here, right? Because this is an upside down card over here, the knave of disc. So environment, social environment, not necessarily specific groups or individuals, but it just seems to rub you the wrong way, or you rub people the wrong way, or some conflict there. Home life is kind of like not organized as you usually would have it, Virgo. You love it being detailed and organized, and so for some reason you're just kind of all over the place with the lust or the sex or the money. Been buying maybe a little too much, and you're like, I ain't got no more space. I don't know. I gotta maybe get some storage units or something. Um, you could be greedy. Your perceptions could be off when it regards finances or physical. That's why you may have less towards people who are you find very attractive, and you don't really get to know them as much as you should because you're just fulfilling the urge, trying to fill the void, and you learn that's not going to work, or you know that's not going to work. So it's just stuff to be wary about because October is going to be a challenging, very difficult bringing up the shadow self of yourself that you probably haven't been dealing with. Shadow self of yourself. The shadow self that you haven't been dealing with or you haven't been nurturing and taking care of and loving. Because for a balanced relationship, like I was talking about in your light, the light has to love the shadow and the shadow has to protect the light. That's how it works. Now, how you do it, necessarily, that's up to you. Right? Each individual has their own circumstances and challenges that they can integrate that with. But Cthulhu is bringing out the shadow and the real you that nobody sees when you're not on camera, or you're not on whatever, or you're not outside, you're not showing yourself, is going to come out more. And you're going to find it hard to keep down because you need to not keep it down. What you need to do is love it and have it protect the light. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like Virgo, you haven't been doing that, and it's going to fall out. It's going to fall out with this dark city of energy here. And this might be a sunset, not a sunrise, right? So, Knave of Discs. This is a young woman or a child who is vain of her looks and changeable in her affections. She squanders her resources with careless disregard for the future, merely for the pleasure of satisfying her vanity. Her own self-absorption makes her indifferent to the feelings of others. She assumes that everyone will be interested in her. She assumes that everyone will be interested in her amusements and becomes petulant when they are called away on more important tasks. Okay, look. This is the shadow aspect coming out. Just carving the liver out of this. Licking her chops on her altar. The book references Egyptian, pagan, temples or whatever, pyramids. She's a queen. Or is she? She thinks she's a queen, but she's really a knave. See what I'm saying? Is that really her crown, or is she wearing someone else's crown when they're not looking? Huh? Or someone we don't see, allowing her to wear the crown to feel like she's empowered really when she's being manipulated. Social aspect of your life, Virgo, you just don't care. You're going to do you. You're going to spend the money how you want to spend the money. And you probably don't even want to listen to what I'm telling you. But, I don't know, maybe you will. Right? You're being the young, rebellious 20s or teenage self. That is like, I'm free, I can do what I want. I'm the one who's brought this goat up here and for sacrificing the liver to get what I want. It's metaphorically speaking, right? You sacrifice your time and energy and efforts to get what you want. It's funny because I've heard, self-sacrifice is self-sabotage. Well, you're being a hypocrite. Sorry to tell you that, because every day of your life, you're sacrificing your time for something. You're not just sitting there meditating, trying to become the supreme higher self. Cracks me up. But see, that's my shadow self coming out, and that's the point. That's how you get the shadow aspect into your life. Humor, right? It doesn't have to be dark. I'm not talking like about horrible, dark, bloody, laughing at the suffering of others. No, because I don't think you're suffering from this, right? You know you're not. You know this is just an ego trip that you're having. It's all good. You'll get over it. You'll move. This isn't going to last forever. This isn't who you really are. So you're just potentially learning from your experience. To really truly learn, you have to have the experience. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm learning about it because of what I've read or what I've seen." The soul doesn't really know until it actually experiences things, right? And that's probably part of why the lessons on Earth are so difficult and why it's so challenging here is one of the most or the hardest school in the universe is because you have to experience things to actually learn the lessons. And the experiences can be so detrimental or so dense to you that you have to do it over and over and over and over again. And isn't no judging. It's all good. And that's what makes me laugh about people being like, "Oh, we need to reach a critical mass." I'm sorry, but education said we got a long time till then. A long, long time. The pole will shift before that happens. I promise you that. Five of Swords, loss of dispute, defeat, failure, unfavorable ruling, display of weakness, troubles, anxiety for the future. These two things down here is why you got Five of Swords in the emotional aspect of your life. Yeah, and it potentially is why you're doing what you're doing is because your heart is feeling like it's got to act out or rebel because it's being targeted. You're getting a lot of persecution potentially, right? Or you feel like you are. Maybe you really aren't. Maybe it's all an illusion. You don't see it. You know, because of the way of your shadow self coming out, and you didn't deal with it correctly. You didn't nurture it. You didn't love it. You didn't do the light work on your shadow self. So your shadow self is causing your heart to feel this way, which is a vicious cycle of doing what these two cards are down here we're talking about, your social and your physical. So this can be a detriment to your life and to who you are. Potentially, this may not go away after October. This could continue. So I would be wary. Don't necessarily listen to your heart. Listen to your the intellect. The intellect knows, but the light can abuse the shadow and make it worse. Okay, so this real work was the preparation, preparing for this month, and understanding how to use the light to love the shadow, to not fall for these dark desires that can come up out of nowhere, and you're just hard to control the urges or temptations. So emotionally, you don't have a lot of support from yourself. So I would go to here, here, and here for support, and anyone that could resonate those messages to you and help you with that, I would listen to and spend more time with those people. Israfel, angel of song, the herald that will call the coming of end times. Israfel is a presence, a beacon, a warning. Heated judgment is upon us. The horn that blows the final call rests against the flesh of Israfel's lips, if even it is flesh. Israfel is both melody and the cacophony of existence. Songs can be soft and warm, especially when they end. Under the serene score of creation, the danger of total destruction is hidden. Beyond the destruction may be a new beginning. You must consider the implications of your actions seriously. Choose your steps wisely as you dance upon the cinder-soft earth. The signs are horns, or the setting sun, and a flame. So if you're paying attention to the setting sun or fire, then those are the signs that whatever you may be dealing with is coming to an end, or what you built up, what you've cherished so much is coming to an end. And this may be why you're having these dark shadow times to help bring down, to rebuild. Now, if you don't want to necessarily deal with breaking down and rebuilding, remember what I said about being prepared with the light work on the shadow work. Bringing them together to reinforce the foundation so Cthulhu doesn't destroy it. Alright? This is a warning. Angel is warning you. This is trials and tribulations time. This is, can you endure? Can you pass this final test of this chapter of your life? This is finals. It's finals right now spiritually. Like in college, or even your assertion, right? Can you pass? The thinker, the father of knowledge, instruction, reinvention. The thinker's formidable intellect has persisted even into the afterlife, and he has no illusions about who or what he was in life or in death. His will and reason form the foundations of the city district around him, and he uses his knowledge to instruct those who come to his university of the mind. The thinker teaches us that there is no state in which and from which we cannot learn, and that often the best way to improve is to teach and exchange knowledge with others. So this is correlating with the Knave of Discs down here. Instead of being this potentially egoist or egotistical, maybe, or I don't necessarily think it's egotistical, because I think it's coming from a place of desire, right? Egotistical is like pride, I think. But to see that you don't need to broadcast how you've done what you've done and you've got what you got as a way to show others how to be, right? It's not coming from a place of compassion and love, right? It's kind of like, see, I could do it, you could do it too. You don't know what the challenges and circumstances people are dealing with. If assuming what you're telling them is just going to work, why don't you listen to them? Why don't you listen to what they have to say? Why don't you listen beyond the sounds that you don't like? Maybe that you should go read the lyrics of what they're trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You're just being disturbed by the sound. You're not actually listening. So, I think the thinker is telling you, hey, the real information that you really need in October is not coming from you. Metamorphosis, you're in the process of a deep and beautiful change. Butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, for it is never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, a part of you needs to die. Letting go isn't easy, especially when you're used to thinking a certain way about your life and how you live it. Just as a snake sheds its dead skin, or a caterpillar dies so that a butterfly can be born. You're required to release your old ideas and embrace the necessary change so you can live your best life. Perhaps you're being asked to let go of low self-worth, a dream that no longer serves you, a relationship that is draining you, or unhealthy habits. Despite your fear, you must accept that this is a transformational time for you. There will be some loss involved, but you'll love what you become. There are times of chaos and darkness that occur, much like the growing pains experienced by the caterpillar who is in the process of becoming a butterfly. There is a tendency to expect the worst when the first signs of difficulty arise. When something is taken away or unwanted circumstances come to challenge you to let go of old ideas about how life is supposed to be, you are not a victim. Rather, you're experiencing the temporary discomfort we all must go through before the beauty is revealed. So, realize that this is a transformation period, right? Metamorphosis. That you're potentially becoming a phoenix, dying and reborn as anew. Okay. So it doesn't have to be completely different, right? A lot of people think, oh, 2.0 is a completely new person. Like, no, it's the only way you can get 2.0 and a completely new person is dying and coming back as another person. It's the only way. Sorry to tell you that. Physically, your body has to die. And then you can come back spiritually as a new you. That's the only way to do that. Completely. 100%. Sorry to tell you that. So, this is not a completely new you metamorphosis. No, that's ridiculous. No, this is you coming from a caterpillar to a butterfly, right? The butterfly still has the caterpillar shape and the body of a caterpillar, kind of. Not exactly, but it still has it. But now it has wings, has the legs and the antennas. So you see what I'm saying? It's not a completely brand new you. No, it's not, because it's not turning into a frog. It's not turning into a dragonfly. You know what I mean? Like, no. So be a new version of you. And that was your reading, Virgo, for October. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next month.